Hey, what's up? I'm Ga. This is 7 Mortal Sins. Today I got a tier list video for you guys. This is going to be based off of what we have currently in global at time of recording. But first, let's get into some quick disclaimers. Alright, so take everything with a grain of salt. Tier lists are subjective. Don't take any tier list as the absolute truth, and do not blindly follow any tier list. Placements here are based on my personal experience and opinion, and are subject to change. Characters with low placement aren't necessarily bad, and a well-made team can include characters from many different tiers. So with that out of the way, let's jump into it. So placements are based on how I feel each character performs individually across 3 game modes, which would be PvP, Guild Raid, and just general PvE. As you can see, I've already placed all the 4-star characters. And just real quick, I want to run through my definition of each tier. I've kind of taken it back to a more simple tier list. There's no like EX, S++, triple S, max tier, or like you see some that are like SSS, S, A plus, A minus. No, we're just gonna go S, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, just dialing it back a little bit. So an S tier character, in my opinion, would be an 11 out of 10. So completely broken that they warp the entire game around them. A tier is a 10 out of 10 character, very strong, tier 1. Best at what they do in at least one game mode with little to no competition. B tier would be roughly an 8 out of 10 character. Still really solid, really good, but maybe not quite as good as A tier. C tier, I would probably say like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Still very solid, still very good, very strong, but they have some weaknesses or have competition in their role with a character at a higher tier. D tier would be like a 4 out of 10. Not the best, but not necessarily terrible either. Maybe they have a niche use, or they're just too niche to really be used. E tier would be like a 2 out of 10. Just try to avoid these. It's hard to justify spending the resources to build these kind of characters. And for F tier, all I have in my notes is dumpster fire. So yeah, I mean, like, you can kind of argue some of these 4 stars maybe you could see use, but they usually get replaced pretty early on into your team building process. They don't really have a whole lot that stands out on their own. So just real quick, this template I made myself because the one on this site that claims to have all the characters doesn't. So I had to go into the game, screenshot every single character profile picture, crop them, upload them here, and that's why you see some of these grayed out. These are characters I just don't have, so sorry about that. But I guess we'll just start right up at the top. Lucifer, OG Lucifer, A tier, easy. One of the best DPS still. Like, she does okay in Guild Raid. I mean, she's getting a little bit power crept in that game mode. She's great in PvP. She has AoE for general PvE to just wipe out waves of enemies super fast. A tier character. And then Summer Lucy. I would actually put her in B tier. She's kind of fallen off a little bit in PvP. She does okay in general PvE. You know, she's just like another character on your team. She really shines in Guild Raid though for her defense down. But she kind of requires OG Lucifer to be on the team to access some of her kit, and that's kind of where she falls off a little bit there. Winter Lucy, easy A tier right now. So if you don't know, any character that has the ability to CC an enemy as soon as the battle starts is incredibly valuable in PvE and just in general PvP. So easy A tier. She opens with freeze on enemies. She does almost just as much damage as OG. She's fantastic. Leviathan, OG Leviathan, easy A tier. One of the best sub DPS in the game. She's fantastic. And by the way, I am considering all of these characters at their peak potential. You know, like plus 15, maxed out, everything. So take that as you will. Summer Levy. Yeah, I'm torn between A and B tier for this one. But I'm gonna have to put her in B tier for now. She's got, you know, really good like AoE, she's got good like damage, she's got some crowd control in her kit. But she doesn't really have that much of a presence in PvP, and she's only good in Guild Raid on a couple of days, blue days. And then, you know, just general PvE, you know, she's another character you can put on your team. She's not terrible. And then OG Satan coming up next. God, this one's a little tough too. She's got a lot of damage. 3 days on Guild Raid. She smacks greens. Crazy. She nukes. She's just a big walking nuke, and I think she's a little underrated. Everyone says, "Oh, she's bad now." Have you ever run into like a fully built Satan? Like, she slaps. I'm gonna have to put her in B tier. And then Dark Fury Satan, easy A tier, easy. She would have been S tier if I had done this video, I don't know, a couple weeks, maybe a month ago. But there's a lot of counterplay for her now, so she's not quite as busted as she was before. She's still like the best DPS you can bring into Guild Raid. She smacks enemies in PvE, and she kind of slaps still in PvP. But there are counters for her, and that's kind of why she got brought down to A tier. Alright, next up, we have Belphegor. OG Belphegor. So she's kind of mid, if I'm being honest. Probably C tier. Like, she doesn't really do a whole lot in Guild Raid. She doesn't really have a presence in PvP. She's a character you can put on your team for PvE, like generally speaking, I guess. When she's fully maxed out and you're building a team around her, she's a threat. But, you know, individually, it's kind of hard to find a slot for her on your team unless you're building around her. Same thing with Ghostwalker Belphy. You know, she's kind of in that same boat, but maybe even a little bit weaker than OG Belphy, just because she doesn't have any like consonants or super evo. Like, that's what really made OG kind of pop off. Then OG Maman, easy A tier. Even right now, she's fantastic. Mostly for her usage in PvP, but she can do okay in Guild Raid too. She's not the best. And then she just kind of does everything you'd want in a character. Okay, and then let's see, which Maman. She's kind of mid as well. She's just kind of like a blue DOT DPS. Nothing really special about her other than her art. Yeah, she's okay. Okay, next up we have the Beelzebubs. I rarely run into Beels anymore in PvP. Like, she's alright. Her best thing for me, in my opinion, is her defense down on her skill 1 to help out in Guild Raid. And she is a healer, so if you need that, she's kind of a tank too, a little bit better than Belphegor, I'd say. Let's go ahead and put her and her alt up in B tier, because her alt's pretty good too. Asmodeus, both of the Asmos. Jeez, this kind of pains me to say, because I'm a huge fan of Asmo, but she's really fallen off in PvP. She counters herself, because she's a charm character, but is also immune to charm. She counters charm teams, and that's kind of her niche. Like, outside of that, she doesn't really provide too much value. Like, she's kind of a niche character that you would bring to your team. Like, she does have some good stuff, like move gauge reduction, but in PvP, we're kind of moving away from that. And charm isn't really seen a whole lot right now in PvP. And if it is, you just bring Asmodeus and it counters. So I mean, she's okay. She doesn't really do a whole lot in Guild Raid either, and like she's just okay in general PvE. So I'm gonna go ahead and put both of them in the C tier. Like, they are just okay for now, in my opinion. Next up, Belial, easy A tier. Probably one of the best characters in the game right now. She's everything you would want in a tank. She's an all-rounder, everything you want in a character. Easy A. Like, one of the best DPS to bring into Guild Raid 2, slaps PvE, slaps PvE, and yeah, she's just good. OG Astaroth. I'm being generous putting her here. Like, at max potential, she can work, but she has too many if-thens and not enough just-dos. Little too situational for me, but she's okay. Choco Astaroth, easy A tier. This is the main reason for Dark Fury falling out of S. Just because of her. Like, Choco meta is now in PvP. She does alright in PvE. She can kind of help out a little bit in Guild Raid. Like, if you don't have another red DPS, she's not bad. Michael, easy A tier for pretty much the same reason as Winter Lucy. So Michael opens with stun, CCs 2 random enemies in PvP. She's an absolute monster. She has all damage reduction, so she can be a pseudo tank, and she just slaps. Like, from her release, she's never fallen off. Not great in Guild Raid though. She's not bad in general PvE either. Uriel, let's see. You know, she's basically just another witch Mammon, right? Like, she's just another blue DOT DPS. She does what she does. And then Phoenix Uriel is basically, as far as I understand, she's basically just red Uriel. She's like a red DOT. Like, she is a character that you can put in your team, and she'll do alright. Sariel, easy A tier. Easy. Like, just like Mammon, she's everything you want in a support. It's just absolutely busted. She's not someone you're going to take into Guild Raid, but what she does in PvP and what she can do for you in PvE is just absolutely just insane. Alright, next up we got, let's see here, Alt Sariel. She is obnoxious to deal with. Every time she gets hit, she heals your team. She's like a fantastic tank. Probably one of the better non-Belial red tanks, I would say. She's just good at keeping your team alive. She likes taking that punishment, I guess. Alright. Yeah, she's good in PvP. She's solid in PvE. Not really someone you bring to Guild Raid, but she's a good character. Alright, OG Sandalphon is basically just red Belphegor. You know, she's in this for the same reason that these other two Belfies are. And then General Sandy, easy A tier. Easy. So she's up here for what she does in PvP mainly, because she's not a Guild Raid character, but she is another reason Dark Fury fell out of S tier. She makes your entire team tankier. She stops people from ulting. She boosts move gauge. She's absolutely fantastic. Alright, and then OG Metatron. Easy A. Like, you're not going to find a better healer and CC blocker and just general support. Like, she's so good at keeping your team alive. She's got a revive. So if you're up against some difficult PvE content, like maybe Vortex, she's going to help you out there. She's fantastic in PvP. Not someone you bring to Guild Raid though, but like what she does in the other game modes really heavily outweighs what she can't do. And in that same vein, her ult, I'm going to put in B tier. She is more of a healer, I would say, than Metatron, but she does just a little bit less, right? Like, she has Charm in her kit, she has Shield in her kit, but she doesn't really have the capacity to block opening CC like Metatron does. And for that reason, she's in B tier. Alright. Next up is OG Raphael. Now, I think this character is super underrated. She gets way more hate than she deserves, and I see a lot of lists putting her, like, you know, down here, when I think she's actually up here. She is a top contender for one of the best anti-meta units in the game. She counters almost everything that like the top tier wants to do. But the reason I'm not putting her up in A tier is because it can be a little difficult to find a slot for her on your team, and she doesn't really do enough in like other game modes. She's really just anti-meta PvP in my eyes. Alright, and next up, another controversial one is Speedrunner Raphael. Raphael's being controversial out here. She's going up into A tier. Easy. She is one of the fastest characters in the game, and she excels at accelerating your team. So you can bring her into PvP, she'll go first, she'll boost everyone up, bring the whole goon squad with her, and just start running laps around everybody. She is a character you can put on your team for general purpose use. She's okay in Guild Raid. Like, if your team is set up correctly, you can basically just loop the guild boss until like turn 80 plus with her, which is kind of cool. Alright, next up we got OG Gabby. Gabby. I'm gonna put her right here in B tier. She's a super solid unit. She's basically just a blue nuke, but she kind of competes for the blue nuke spot with Dark Fury Satan over here. Like, she's good, she does a lot of damage, she's immune to CC for 4 turns. She does pretty good in Guild Raid on red days. Solid character. Her ult, though, easy A tier for the same reason as Winter Lucy and Michael. She opens with CC. She's dummy fast, and she just hits hard. You can also bring her into Guild Raid. She probably does okay there. I wouldn't know, I don't have the character, but hypothetically, she should do well on green days. Alright, next up, Esmira. So, just like Sandalphon and Belphegor, she is a defensive tank, but she also has more utility than they do, I think. And she counters like a lot of the top reds in PvP. She's not super great in Guild Raid, but I think she's a really solid character overall. Okay, and then Chino. Chino, easy A tier. Easy. Super easiest A tier. Well, maybe not as easy as Belial, but so Chino's really good because she's useful in every single game mode. You can take her into Guild Raid and she's got defense reduction. You can take her into just general PvP and she's got healing, she's got DOT, she's going to keep your team alive. You can take her into PvP, she boosts move gauge, she heals, she gives your whole team regen. She's just a really solid character all around. Alright, then Sutaler. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm gonna put her in B tier. Sutaler is a very, very solid character, just all around. She's almost like a mini Belial or a mini Lucifer, but not quite on their level. She's really good in Guild Raid because she has defense down. She has AoE for general PvE. She's pretty solid in PvP too, but she competes for your red role on your team, like your red DPS basically. Alright, and then Thurza. Okay, so OG Thurza gets like almost hard countered by Asmo because of charm, but unlike Asmo, Thurza can also trigger charm when being hit, and she has a lot of other stuff in her kit, like she has healing in her kit, she has a situational revive, and she's just crazy fast. I think she has like the highest base speed in the game for characters right now. I mean, fully invested, you could get her close to like 3k speed easy, which, if you're looking for a charm character, puts her a little bit ahead of Asmodeus. If you're looking for a green character, she can also be a tank slash healer. She's just got like a lot of utility, and I almost want to put her in. Oh no, not you. You. I almost want to put her in B tier for now. Just because of what she does in PvP. But she's also a solid, just general PvE unit, just kind of charming characters is whatever. She might go up or down, depending on how things shape up. Alright, and then Bride Thurza. So, B tier, for the same reason as Summer Lucy and Sutaler. She's just a good support for your red units. She helps buff everybody up. It's pretty cool. Okay, and I think that's actually all the Sins, Virtues, and Riders. And you notice none of them made it below C tier. Alright, so here we go. Alright, okay. This is painful, but yeah, Seer's not good. Sorry, guys. Cherry Seer, though, is actually one of the better Awakers in the game. She's got a niche, she's a healer, she's almost like a mini Metatron, almost. She counters a lot of move buffing shenanigans, so if you need a counter to that, that's Seer's niche. Oh god, okay, this will be pretty quick. Bad, 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 bad. Bad. Camilla's pretty solid for an Awaker. She has some CC. I think she has like a speed debuff. Yeah, she's alright. Maid Camilla though, not quite as good as OG Camilla. Then Cecilia. Even though she got a consonance, I feel like she's not really worth investing in. Nona though, if you're able to get Nona, her Super Evo, she's actually quite good. And same thing with Choco Nona, she's basically just a mini Asmodeus, still pretty solid. Generva, I have not had good experience using this character. Let me know if I'm wrong about this, but I just feel very, very underwhelmed by her. Anastasia, though, I think is quite good for an Awaker. OG Luciana, I like her, but I don't think she's really worth investing in. Summer Luciana is also quite nice. She is a niche counter to move gauge reduction shenanigans. Daniela is literally just there for gold stage. Hannah, not great. Nikita, I like. Not enough to put into B tier, but she's a really good red support. She boosts attack and crit rate. I almost might even put her into C tier. I think she's that good. Shalimar is okay. Clarice has a nice support skill, but other than that, not great. Furka, I want to put her in B tier actually. Like, she does one thing and she does it really good, and that's accelerating your team, but she doesn't do it well enough. Well, let me rephrase that. She doesn't do more than that. So like other characters that also have the ability to increase your team's speed and move gauge and stuff also do a lot of other things. So you can kind of consolidate roles or have multiple roles on one character. Furka is just there to make your team go faster. And while I'm at it, I'm actually going to move Choco Nona up a tier. And Zoe, Punica, Amber used to be good at the very start of the game, but nope. Thyla is quite good. She's got a revive. She gives 2 characters on your team all damage reduction. She's solid. Viola, I think she's in the same tier as Nona. She's really good. She's got some CC in her kit. She opens with Confuse, I believe, on one enemy. And then, last but not least, well, maybe least, I don't know. Ravina is basically just a mini Metatron, but without the CC block. So, notice I didn't put anybody in S tier. That's because I think there are enough characters in the game to kind of balance each other out. In PvP, a lot of characters have counterplay, and in PvE and Guild Raid, I feel like there's enough selection to make variable teams. Like, you don't have to feel pigeonholed into only running the S tier. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this list. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with. In the comments section below. I'm gonna keep kind of updating these as like new characters come out and the meta changes, but yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, come hang out on the Discord, link in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.